Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Esteban Wilder. I'm partner at WE Solutions and at Infobal. And today we will do a webinar where we will explain how to automate how to update exchange rates automatically in SAP. Adrian will do the presentation, and after this presentation, we will answer some questions. So you have in this tool you have the chance to make questions, and so we will read the questions afterwards, and we will answer them. Thank you very much. Adrian, it's all yours.
Hello, how are you? Can you listen to me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hello, how are you? Good morning or good evening, depending on which part of the world you are. I am Agent Wilder. I am together with Esteban, partners at WAE Solutions and at Infoaval. There are two companies, but we do the same. Infoaval is focused for Latin American countries, and WAE Solutions is focused for all other countries outside Latin America. Maybe you received our invitation from Infoaval, but we are in fact the same company with the same solutions. And what we are going to see today is the solution that we have already developed almost 9 or 10 years ago for updating automatically exchange rates in SAP by using standard functionality. We have a lot of experience working with the finance model. I myself have over 24 years of experience working as a finance consultant, and at WAE Solutions, we provide consulting services regarding the finance model. Also, we have a big technical department in charge of Esteban. We do developments in many languages, but mainly in ABAP to all our customers. And we have many solutions already developed specific for finance, but in this case, we will see today our solution for updating the different exchange rates in an automatic way with standard SAP functionality. Up to now, we have around 170 customers using this solution in around 40 to 50 countries. We have customers that are using our solution for over 9 years, and year to year, more and more customers are using our solution every night for updating their own values and their own SAP systems. This solution can be found on the internet under OB08.net or under cotizaciondemonedas.com, which is the name in Spanish, but it's always the same solution. If you find this solution under those names, just know that we are the same company and that we provide the same solution. And why do we offer this solution? This was developed almost 9 to 10 years ago because we had a customer and they were entering in their SAP system the different exchange rates in a manual way by using the OB08, like many of you are doing at this moment. The thing was that at a certain day, they noticed that they happened 3 days after the other in which they were entering the different exchange rates in a wrong way, multiplying all values by 10. Once they noticed that, imagine all the changes that they had to perform in the finance accounting, but mainly in the materials ledger accounting. And this happened because the person in charge of this activity was on vacation, and the person that did the replacement did not pay attention to the different warnings that appeared when he was entering the values in a wrong way. So this company asked us to find a solution to avoid that this happened again to them, and basically to fulfill the different goals that we have here. First of it was to transform the way in which the different exchange rates were entered into SAP, to automate this process as much as possible, and that they don't have to depend on a person for performing this activity into SAP. And two different tasks that went together were to use standard SAP functionality and not to use any set development in ABAP for that. So basically with this, we started to work and we found a standard transaction in SAP which is the TBD4 transaction, in which this transaction allows, with a specific customizing, SAP to get connected to the internet to a specific site, and from this specific site, the TBD4 transaction can read the different exchange rates that are published there. And with this information, the TBD4 populates the TCURR table, which is the same table that you populate manually by using the OB08 transaction. So since it was already resolved in SAP, what we did was a development hosted on the internet that we have today with Amazon Web Services, in which we visit every single hour around 100 to 110 different central banks. We get the different rates that are published there, and we store all this information about those exchange rates on an own database. And this database has the singularity that it is in the same format that the TBD4 transaction needs. So this makes that every SAP installation worldwide with a specific and standard SAP customizing can connect to our solution and automate all the exchange rates that they need, always with information that we extract from the central banks, always with official information. That's why we call that we have reliable information, because the rates that we inform to our customers are the official rates that are published by every country. You can find solutions like, for example, Oanda, Thomson Reuters, or Bloomberg, in which in those cases, they provide also exchange rates, but those exchange rates are not always the official rates. In many cases, they calculate the rates based on other currencies, and not always you will get from those providers the official exchange rates that are valid for that certain date for a specific country. Other of the goals was having data in real time. We do not have online information, but what we do is we refresh our database every single hour, of course, in an automatic way. This means that every night when you connect automatically to our solution, the data that you will receive is in the worst case 1 hour old, no older than that. And one important thing is the price. We have really very convenient prices for our solution, and that's why we have also at this time so many customers using every day our solution in an automatic way. So how it works? Once we have the customizing already done, remember that the customizing is everything in the standard functionality in SAP. What we do is we plan a job to be executed every night for the TBD4 transaction. Every time that the TBD4 transaction gets executed, it connects to our database, to OB08, in this OB08.net in this case, and from this database, the TBD4 transaction will read the different exchange rates from the central banks that we got in the last hour already that we have in our database. The TBD4 will read this information and will take it to SAP and will populate with these rates the TCURR table, which is the same table that you populate manually by using the OB08 transaction. And this process is totally automated and it takes 5 to 10 seconds, no more than that. This is how the TBD4 transaction looks like. What we do usually is we save a selection variant. So every time that the process is being executed, it gets executed with the same parameters, always in the same way. And every time that the transaction finishes, you will see a report like this one with the result of the execution, where you can see all currencies that have been updated in SAP and which are the specific rates for every combination that you have defined in your customizing. Here we have an example from the Argentine currency against the US dollar at a value of 44 pesos with 97 cents. If at that time I went to the official website for Argentina and looked to the official rate for the US dollar, I could see that the value at that time was the same one, 44 with that 97. And after executing the TBD4 transaction, if I enter to the OB08 transaction, I can see there the same value that is online at this moment in the official website for Argentina, but it was entered in an automated way by executing the TBD4 transaction. It will be seen in the same way as if you have entered it in a manual way by the OB08 transaction, but by executing the TBD4 transaction, it was populated in an automatic way in the TCURR table. That's why we are able to see it in the OB08 transaction in the same way if you have entered that value in a manual way. Also, with standard SAP functionality, what we can do is that every time that the job finishes, that an email is being sent to a distribution list within the organization, usually people from the accounts payables department, treasury department, general ledger, sales administration, all people involved in process for exchange rates can receive this email, and this email will have an attachment. And what we will see in the attachment, we will see the result of the execution. So when the person comes to work in the next day in the morning, he will see an email with an attachment, and there he can see which exchange rates were updated and which was the result for every currency combination. So there is no need for the user to enter to the OB08 transaction to see which is the current value. Just by having a look to that email, he can see which are the current values for that specific date. Up to now, we have between 100 to 110 different central banks already developed, from which we get the different exchange rates in every single hour in a fully automatic way. I will send you later this PowerPoint file so you can see if the countries that you need to update information are already covered by our solution. We have most of the countries, but in case you need some information from a specific country that we do not have developed up to now, please let me know and we can analyze it together. But the most important countries, the biggest countries, the customers where the SAP customers have operations are already developed in our solution, and we get all the rates from those countries every single hour in a fully automatic way. Advantages for our solution are, of course, the automatic population of the different exchange rates that you need. If you need several combinations, for example, if you need 20 combinations to be updated in SAP, you do not need to execute 20 times the TBD4 transaction. Just by executing one time the TBD4 transaction, it will update all the different exchange rates that you need. We will inform always the information that is based on the official sources, the information provided by the central banks. We will use always standard SAP customizing. You will receive every day an email just being sent from your own SAP system with the result of the execution. And take into consideration that if in the future you need to add more currencies or to add more countries, this is really very easy to perform it with the standard customizing, and you will get always our support for performing this activity. Regarding the technical side, you will get always an execution log. This is the one that you are receiving by email that is being sent from your own SAP system. This is a job that is being defined in the S1036 transaction for the TBD4 program with a daily repetition to be executed every day, usually during the night, when we are sure that we have already the closing values for that specific countries that we need to update. We will use always standard SAP customizing. No set developments are needed. Everything is standard customizing, standard SAP functionality by using the TBD4 transaction. And the most important thing is that the solution is hosted in United States with AWS. 10 years ago, when we were designing the solution, we evaluated several providers for hosting our solution. We decided at that moment to use AWS, and we are still using AWS at this moment with 99% of reliability. So if you are interested in our solution and you would like to know more about it, what we offer you is to test it totally free for 90 days. What we do is to do together the customizing in your own SAP system so you can test the solution by yourself and see if the solution fulfills your requirement. Usually what we do is we do the customizing and the customer tests it for 1 week in their development system, then from 3 to 4 weeks in your quality assurance system, and the last 2 months of pre-testing are usually in their production system, in which they see every day how the different exchange rates are being updated in SAP, and also they receive the email that is being sent from your own SAP system with the result. In case that when you are doing the testing in production, you find maybe a rate that was not the one that was expected, and maybe you did not detect this case before in your quality assurance system, please bear in mind that you can overwrite every value that is being populated by the TBD4 transaction with the OB08 transaction in a manual way. So the value that the TBD4 transaction brings is not the final one. You can overwrite the value by using the OB08 transaction. And in the meanwhile, of course, we will going to do the adjustments that are needed. The idea is that you test the TBD4 transaction with our solution by yourself, and you can evaluate in 3 months without any cost if the solution fulfills your requirement. We do not charge also for the customizing. Customizing is totally free. What we want is that you can see the solution working by yourself according to the currencies that you need to update every day in your SAP system. Regarding the customizing, it takes really a very little short time. In less than 1 hour, we have it in most cases already working. What we do is we send you a questionnaire in an Excel format in which you have to complete the different currencies that you are updating every day. There you need to complete which is the exchange rate type that you're using for every case, from which currency to which currency you are updating the data manually today in the OB08 transaction. If you enter those values in the first column as indirect quotation or in the second column for the OB08 transaction as a direct quotation, and from where you are getting the rates, from which bank, which is the official site, and in case that maybe the rate has a buy rate and a sell rate, you need to specify there which of those rates do you need. And with this information that you send us back in an Excel file, we are in very good shape for performing the customizing. And for performing the customizing, we offer 3 options, which are all of them totally free. First of them is that you give us access to your development system, and we do the customizing and we document it for you. The second option is to do a remote session in which we guide you step by step how to perform the customizing. We explain you at that time what we are doing, and in that case you keep also the knowledge about the process and about the customizing, and it's of course much better if in the future you need to analyze something. And also it is faster than the first solution because you do not have to give us access to your VPN, to your SAP system, and so on. It's just that you share your screen and we guide you step by step for performing together the customizing. And the third option is that we do the customizing in another SAP system and we document the whole customizing process so you can reproduce it by yourself manually in your own installation. Any of the 3 alternatives is totally free. You choose the alternative that you prefer. We always recommend the second one, but always the customer has the last word to see which is the solution that he prefers. And here we did some measurements at some different customers in which in the left side we measured the manual process that for sure you know today for the OB08 transaction. And according to the measurements that we did, it takes around of half a minute for every currency combination to populate it in the OB08 transaction. And In the other side, you can see our solution on the right side of the screen, in which all different currency combinations are being entered in this process in a period of 10 seconds. So there is a big difference in time, but mainly in the quantity of different combinations that you enter at that time. So in 10 seconds, you will have already populated in your SAP system all the currency combinations that you need. And here we have the main difference between both processes. With the OB08 transaction, the values are being entered by a user one by one. With our solutions, all values are being entered automatically by the job that is being executed. Of course, if the values are being entered in a manual way, there is a possibility to enter them with errors. With our solution, all the values that you are getting are the same values that are online at that time at the website of the official source for that country, at the central bank's website. If the person is on vacation, if he arrives late or he's sick, you know perfectly what can happen in your installation. With our solution, all values are being updated every day at the same time, also on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. And in the standard SAP, there is no report that can tell me which was the specific rate at a certain date. If I need to have this information, I have to use technical transactions like the SE16 and to browse into the table. With our solution, you will receive every day an email sent from your own SAP system in a PDF format, and you can keep this file for maybe an audit that you can have in the future. So you will get always in an automatic way the log, and you can keep it for having a look to it in the future. If I will send you later this PowerPoint, because we have here the experience of some customers using our solution in different countries, so you can see. What I will do now is to show you the solution working in SAP, so you have an idea of the time of the solution and which data we are able to see. This is the TBD4 transaction. In this case, I will execute the transaction in a manual way, but in your case, it would be totally automated, since it would be a job that would be executed by that should be planned before in the SM36 transaction, right? First of all, I have to enter here some parameters, like for example, here I have defined which are the different currencies that I need to update in this SAP system. And I have to mark here currencies to update the different exchange rates. I will execute the transaction, and you will see in 5 to 10 seconds, I will have already the result of the execution. It was less than that, it was maybe 2 to 3 seconds. And I have here, in this case, 8 combinations that were updated in this SAP system. Let's go, for example, to the first one. I have the Argentine currency against the euro at a value of 949.344. I will visit the official website for Argentina, and I will go to have a look to the euro. And I can see here the value. I will do it a little bigger so you can see it better. Here it is, 449.344. And this is the same value that I have here in the TBD4 transaction. So the value that shows at this time the official website from the central bank in Argentina is the same one that is here on the TBD4 transaction. And if I go now to the OB08 transaction and have a look to that entry, I should see there the same value. So this should be M from IRS to euro, and I have here the value, 949.344. So the same value that is here at this time in the official website went automatically to the TCURR table. I am able to see it here. In the same way, for sure, I can see it here with the US dollar at a value of 880. If I have a look here, I have this value on the official website, 880 pesos per US dollar. And if I search for that into the TCURR table, I should have there the same value. Yes, I have it. 880 pesos, yes, correct. The same value that is online at the official website is the same one that the TBD4 transaction processed and sent to the TCURR table. I am able to see that value now here in the OB08 transaction. So this was what I wanted to present you, how the solution works, how you can see it working with the TBD4 transaction and their interaction with the OB08 transaction. Our idea is that if you want that, you can test it by your own in your SAP system, totally free by 3 months, according to the currencies that you need. And take into consideration that the customizing time is very short. We have really a lot of experience working with this transaction with so many implementations as we did up to now. So we'll do it really fast and in accurate way also. I don't know, Esteban, if there are any questions or maybe there are some things that were not clear that I should go over again.
Yes, at least for the moment, we have some questions. So if you want, I can read the questions and you start
Please.
answering them. So
Sure.
the first one from Alexi, he's asking if he can try this product in a productive environment.
Yes, but take into consideration that the customizing must be done first in a development system because this should be stored in a transport order. Then we have to move it to a quality assurance system according to your landscape and then to your production system. But yes, this can be tested on your production system if you want. There is no restrictions from our side for that. This is according to what you need and you want. It's of course it's possible.
Okay, thank you. Another question here is from Matteo. He's asking if multiple recipients can be sent, can receive the email of the result of this
Yes,
process.
yes, this is a very good question because what we do is we create a distribution list in the SBWP transaction, and this is a distribution list that is being generated within your SAP system with the different addresses of the different recipients that you need for receiving this email every day. So when we create the job in the SN36 transaction, what we do is we assign this distribution list that we created before in the SBWP transaction to that specific job. So every time that the job finishes, it will send the spool, the result, instead of to a printer, it will send it to a distribution list where you have the list of all the recipients that you need.
Okay, here we have another question from Melina. And how long does it take to do the customizing?
No, it's a very short time. In less than 1 hour, we have it usually working. What we do is we send you an Excel file so you can complete the information that you need to automate from which specific currency to which currency do you need to update, which is the specific exchange rate that you are using, and from where you are getting the information. And with this information, we can perform the customizing in the 3 different ways that we showed. Our suggestion is to use the second option in which you share your screen and we guide you step by step how to do the customizing. But it's up to you to select which is the best option according to your needs.
Okay, and now, sorry, they are asking us if it is charged by company code that has that is in the customizing, or how is it charged?
No, this table does not depend from a company code. This is a cross-client table. So the service fee is an annual fee based on the different quantity of combinations that you are updating every day. There is a basic fee from up to 20 different combinations. And then if you need more than that, there is a small delta depending on those combinations that you need. But it's not by country, it's not by company code, it's just by production system. How many production systems do you have and the quantity of currencies that you need to update.
Okay, Hida is asking us what is the difference between our solution and the SAP market rate management application and what are the advantages?
I really don't know that solution, but of course I can guarantee that we offer the rates from the official websites, and there is no other vendor that offers the official rate. If you ask Thomson Reuters, Bloomberg, Finiss, Wanda, or maybe even SAP, they do not work with the official rates. In every case, they have some official rates, but in some others, they calculate the rates. We get really the information from the different central banks. What we do is like a kind of translator between the different central banks and the SAP format. What we do is that we have a development for every of these different countries and banks, and we extract the information and we translate it in just one format, that it is the TBD4 format.
Okay, someone is asking us if they want to try it and after the trial period they don't want to continue. It's asking if they have to pay for it.
No, nothing. 3 months are totally free. What we do is we create a user for you with an expiration date for 3 months. And after the 3 months, if you don't want to continue with the solution, just the user expires. And if you want, you have to cancel the job. And that's it. Nothing more, sorry. And it's totally free, the 3 months, with the idea that you test it by your own and you can see how the solution works according to the different needs that you have.
Okay, and now for the moment, the last question that I'm reading is if they have if do we provide a secure connection, let's say HTTPS.
I leave you that answer for you.
Yes, we provide an HTTPS connection from SAP to our site, and also maybe it's necessary to upload a certificate to SAP, and we have all the documents that explain how to do that. Sorry, we have another questions. If do we need an external interface to connect the solution with SAP, or do you provide this application?
No,
If
it's
you want, I
standard
can
SAP.
answer it.
Yeah, that go
Yes,
ahead.
it's a standard SAP connection in transaction SM59. It's an RFC that when the first time that you execute this transaction, the TBD4 transaction, it's an RFC that automatically gets created. And also, I want to add that in case that you need to, if you want to customize a proxy to get out from SAP to internet, it's also possible with the standard customizing to customize a proxy. We have another question. How do you manage hedging rates within your solution?
No, what we always provide are the exchange rates that are being shown at the official websites for the central banks. If a bank shows a specific rate that you need and we do not have developed it up to now, we can evaluate that. What we offer are the exchange rates, which are the official rates published by those banks, and that you can complete this information in the TCURR table with the OB08 transaction. If you need some other information that impacts maybe in some other financial process like interest rates or some other things, just let us know and we can evaluate it together. But this specific service is about the exchange rates that you populate in the OB08 transaction.
And here he is also asking us if we can update the rates based on different frequencies, let's say monthly or every 2 weeks.
Well, yes, this can be done, but the thing is that the TBD4 transaction is the standard transaction planned for this activity, and it was designed to be executed in a daily basis. If you need the exchange rates once a week, or maybe just for the closing period, for the closing day, what we suggest is to update that rate every day because it is much easier to manage the different jobs to be executed in a daily basis instead of in a different frequency. Also, if you need just the rates for the closing day, you will have the rates every day, although you will use them just for some certain dates. But it's much easier for every installation to plan it every day, although you are not going to use it every day. But otherwise, it's very complicated to plan the job, and this TBD4 transaction was not designed for that.
Okay, and here it's one user that is asking us that to test the tool. He can contact you directly, send me an email, right?
Yes, write to any of these solutions. Write to me if you want at awilder@wasolutions.com. That's my email address. Just send me an email and we can arrange it together. What we do is we send you an Excel file. So with this information, you can complete which are the different rates that you need. And based on that, we can plan a meeting to show you in detail how it works, to tell you which is the price regarding the different combinations that you need, and for performing together the customizing, so you can test it totally free for 3 months.
Okay, for the moment, these are all the questions that we have. So in case you have further questions, you can send us an email. And from my side, I would like to thank all the people that were attending this webinar, and hope to see you in our next webinars.
Okay, thank you very much for your attendance. And in case you need any questions, just write to me, send me an email with the questions that you have. And of course, you are very welcome when you want to try our solution for free so you can see how it works according to your needs. Thank you very much and hope to hear from you soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.